Going. Hello, welcome back to part 3 of Nashville Nutritarian, February 16th. We're in Nashville, Tennessee. And what I'm going to talk today about is about toxic hunger versus real hunger. A lot of people, including myself, are just in the habit of eating 3 times a day. And where did this come from? It came largely from the workday, from not just the Industrial Revolution where we all worked in factories, societies worked in factories, but in the agricultural day where you have to wake up early, milk cows, come in, have breakfast, then go back out and then come back. And so these types of production systems, the factory and the farm, necessitated that we eat at particular intervals. And so we've become accustomed to that, but that's really not the way it was in the beginning, or the way we were designed, I think, to eat. And so we eat 3 times a day just because we're supposed to. And so this causes a lot of problems in the fact that we can eat too much, or we don't really, I think the biggest thing is that we lose touch with the idea of ever being hungry. Like for me, I grew up in a United States, in affluent society, and I've never been hungry. And I've fasted, I've fasted for spiritual reasons and for health reasons for long periods of time that would probably make most people gasp. And I've never really felt hungry. And the way that Dr. Joel Fuhrman describes hunger as a feeling in your throat and in your neck and in your mouth. And that's okay, that's good. I'm grateful I've never been hungry. I'm glad. But I think this is part of understanding the prompts that we all have to eat. A lot of us are prompted to eat when there's an emotional problem, when there's stress, when there's fear, which, fear is really another word for stress. And so we're prompted to eat when these emotions and these thoughts come into, or when the clock strikes 12, we want to eat lunch. And so we're confusing our biological needs with our emotional and other needs. And so I think it's really important to understand that we should only eat when we're hungry. When we're hungry, when we're truly physiologically hungry, our bodies are prompting us to eat. But we have another dimension to this, and that's called detox, okay? And basically, there's 2 phases of our physiology. It runs in the anabolic phase, which is when we're eating. So when I'm eating, I'm in the anabolic phase. And then when I stop eating, I'm in the catabolic phase. So most of us are in the catabolic phase when we go to sleep. And we wake up and we break our fast. We have breakfast. So you got the anabolic and the catabolic. During the anabolic phase, we're assimilating. So all those organs of assimilation are working and working and working. The stomach, the GI tract, and these organs are working. And it requires a tremendous amount of energy. It puts a tremendous load on the body. And then when we stop eating, we do what's called elimination. And so all of the organs of elimination are turned on and start to perform their tasks. And these are the kidneys, the liver, the colon, and the skin. A lot of people eliminate things through their skin. And so when these organs of elimination are turned on, what happens is we don't feel so good. And depending on how much needs to be eliminated. So if we eat a really healthy diet, there's not much elimination that needs to be done. It's pretty easy on the body. But if we eat a lot of foods that are really tough on the body, like say barbecue tastes really unbelievable, but it's the residue from burned wood that's in the food, and it's quite toxic. It has advanced glycation enzymes and all sorts of, I can't remember all the toxins, but there's a lot of them in barbecue. And so when you go to eliminate the barbecue and these not so healthy foods, And it could be barbecued potatoes. You know, it doesn't have to be pork, but when you go to eliminate these more toxic foods, and these are the processed foods, the additives in the foods, and just food byproducts. So when we say detox and toxins, we're not talking about the red dye number 2 or necessarily the chemicals that are added. There are just natural food byproducts that occur in all sorts of foods. But this places a load on the body, and it's in the catabolic phase. And if there's a high load on the body, guess what? We feel like we have the flu. We feel shaky. We feel low energy. We feel our blood sugar plummet. We feel, sometimes there's an expression called hangry, where you're hungry and angry. We feel a form of like phantom hunger, but it's really a detox. And this is also known as the Herxheimer reaction. So as soon as we stop eating, we start to feel bad, because we switch from anabolic to catabolic, and we start to feel bad. That's why after the holidays, when we tend to eat a lot of really rich and not so good foods, we get colds and we get flus. And a lot of this isn't really necessarily a bacteria or a virus. A lot of this is just a detox. Our body says, hey, you know, I need you to park on the couch for a while because we gotta take out the trash. You know, it's like if you pile up trash under your bed or in your kitchen, pretty soon you won't be able to walk into the kitchen or go into the bedroom because there's so much trash piled up. Well, your body will say, hey, you know, I've got to call a hard detox here. We've got some things we've got to deal with here. And so, but what happens is you can postpone the detox by putting more food in. And that's why we don't understand, that's called toxic hunger. And so we're not really hungry, but we want to postpone that detox because it's very unpleasant. And so we end up eating like very frequently because it postpones that and helps us to feel good and keep producing. You know, we're in a situation now where we're measured very closely on how much we're producing. And so by continuing to eat and keeping our blood sugar high, we can produce. And everyone around us is happy that we're producing, but we're killing ourselves by too much food, too frequently, and then we're piling up all that trash in our body, all those food byproducts which accumulate in the fat cells. And so we end up really doing our bodies a tremendous disservice when we act this way. And this is exactly what I was doing. And so, and the better your diet, the less detoxing your body has to do, so the less you're going to feel hungry. And it's not only because you're getting the nutrition you need, but you're also not having that toxic hunger kick in and make you want to eat. And there's a lot, Dr. Joel Fuhrman's doing a lot with this particular topic of toxic hunger now, and he explains it very eloquently, and I encourage you to watch some of his videos. And so, unless there are any questions, we'll wind it up there, and if you could hit the stop on the video, and thank you for watching.